you that acts, you have a choice. You're going to act, you're going to not act. And then there's what you base that decision on. Three different things that moves you and motivates you to sabotage yourself. Because then I'm going to tell you, you see, this is normal human development. Self-sabotage, as far as I can tell, is a very normal thing. We do it to ourselves all the time until we figure it out. We continue to make the same mistake until we figure it out. Now, Einstein said, it is supposed to have said, that to continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result is insanity. He said that's insanity. Now, in no way, shape, or form can I take on Mr. Einstein, who transformed the planet, for sure. But I don't see it as insanity, unless it's the insanity of a whole culture. Unless the whole culture is crazy. Because you see, this brings up one of my favorite quotes. George Bush quote. Said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Now, everybody thinks that's a really funny quote because it's ridiculous, right? Well, what's ridiculous about it is the idea that, oh, once somebody fools you one time, okay, look, somebody's got a trick up their sleeve, or they got a, they're manipulative, or they're a thief, or whatever. Once you see, or they lie to you, once you see who they are, then it says, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Really, I'm supposed to figure that out. So if you fool me twice in the same way, it's not your fault the second time. It's my fault because I fooled myself. So going back to the silliness of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on you, that's how people act all the time. We do that all the time. And it's normal human development to continue to do the same patterns that end up in the same predicaments. And so we have the challenge of figuring out how to do it differently. I believe this represents a different stage of human development. In the same way you have infants and children and adolescents and adults, I believe that that same transformative process continues to happen to us as human beings. But as they say, not every tadpole becomes a frog. Not every acorn becomes an oak tree. This notion of stages of human development in adult psychology, I did my doctoral dissertation on that about 25 years ago. I think it was fairly new at the time. It's pretty popular now. There's many books on it. Not exactly the way I see it. But one of the characteristics of one of these advanced stages of adulthood is the ability to self-reflect and to observe oneself and take responsibility for one's own action and learn from it. Some people can observe themselves and figure out how to change their behavior because they don't want to repeat the same pattern that they've just witnessed in themselves. For instance, and if you're in a pattern in a relationship, and you continue to do the same thing that continues to cause the same result that you don't like, you can either blame it on your partner, and absolutely nothing changes in that case. Or you can ask yourself, wait a minute. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. What the fuck am I doing? Pardon my French. What am I doing here? How can I? And you can begin to ask yourself, how am I participating in the creation of this pattern? Because if I continue to blame you, fool me once, blame you once, fool you twice, nothing's going to change. So, in terms of stages of development, one of the characteristics that I see of a more advanced stage of development, like an adult is more advanced than a teenager, a tadpole is more advanced than a frog. There's different stages of development and levels of consciousness. There's thousands of books written on this stuff. The ability to observe oneself and to identify patterns and begin to create change, to me, is a characteristic of someone who's more developed. And it's not about how old you are, because you can work with a teenager that has this ability. It doesn't have to be chronology, because these kids are coming in with a lot of wisdom. A lot of wisdom. So this long-winded conversation is all about New Year's Eve and how it's possible, if you want to create change. Is there anything that's going on that you can say, damn, I don't like, I do that all the time. I don't want to do that anymore. Because if I do that, well, if I don't stop, I'll keep doing it. And if I keep doing it, I don't feel good about myself. See, and you know what? I think I want to take it on, because if I don't take it on, I'm going to keep repeating the same pattern, but I don't think I can expect a different result. Einstein said that's crazy. Wolf says you can change that behavior, and it's a challenge of adulthood. It's just a challenge that we have, the way the knights would have challenges in order to succeed at rescuing the damsel in distress. It's a challenge of adulthood to make conscious change. So I encourage you to take a moment, sometime between today and tomorrow night. Give gratitude, for sure. Give gratitude. Find the blessings in your life. Find the blessings in your life and feel the gratitude. And then think about the past year for a bit. Think about the past year. I was taught an exercise. I was part of a group one time for many years, called the Eureka School. And there was an exercise. You would write down moments in the past year that you had regret over in some way. And write them down and then put them into a fire and burn them. Just burn them up to relieve them. And think if there's anything that you want to change in your life and the consequences of doing it and the consequences of not doing it. And just start real small. See what happens. So what I want to do is now I want to take a commercial break. I want to tell you all about the program that we're launching. Now, for years, I've worked on a program called Taming Your Anger with Emotional Intelligence. And I started doing this, working with hardcore criminals who wanted to know how to keep their mouth shut so they didn't go to jail on another felony. I've taught it to teens on probation. There is, if you go to my website, tamingyouраnger.com, tamingyouраnger.com, like Taming the Lion. You can find a video of, we're making a documentary movie of the program I did with some teens on probation in Long Beach, California. There's also another video of me working with some veterans. I taught this method of taming your anger to a group of veterans involved in an organization called Vet to Vet. This is a peer counseling vet group. They are now teaching this same program at no cost in the West Los Angeles Public Library, starting again on January 7th, on Wednesdays, I think at 6 o'clock, free, no cost for veterans and their families. Dynamite program. We call it personalized coaching, online video training program with a money-back guarantee. So going back to wanting to change your behavior, how are you doing with your anger expression? You feel good about it? You don't feel good about it? What are the consequences for you and the people that you hang out with and love if you decide not to do anything about the way you express your anger? What are the consequences? What's going to happen? Think about it. You know what's going to happen. As I said before, the best predictor of future behavior is past performance. So what's going to happen, basically, what has happened, unless somebody has reached their limit, and then that's another story about how change happens when you reach a limit. It's a very interesting concept. So, okay. So let's say you decide you want to deal with your anger. And I'm not just talking about people who are court-mandated to do anger management. That's like going to detention hall at high school or traffic school. And it may hopefully help a couple of people, but there's a lot of people that don't get that much benefit out of those programs. So our program includes 4 individual personalized coaching sessions. It's good for 10 hours of anger management. It's $395 for a limited time only. $395, which you get if you complete it. Now, if you do what we tell you to do, you will learn to change your behavior when you experience anger. It's very simple. It works. If I said to you, okay, do 10 sit-ups every day for 5 days, I will tell you that on the 6th day, you'll feel like the sit-ups are easier to do than they were on the first day. I guarantee it. And that's because your body learns. You can't help it when you do the sit-ups. It's the same thing. If you do this work, your brain will learn. You'll develop new patterns. You'll change your behavior. It doesn't mean that you'll never get angry again. As a matter of fact, you'll continue to get angry because it isn't about making you less angry. You can't help it when you feel anger. It's about helping you change your behavior so that your anger, which is a primitive emotional response from your primitive brain, which we've talked about before, we'll go back to it. The anger is a primitive response that dominates you. Now, sometimes you're just mildly annoyed and it's no big deal. But other times, it's bigger than that, feel justified, and then you say whatever you say or you do whatever you do. So the commercial break is go to tamingyouranger.com. Check out the website. Sign up. I'll tell you what. I'm going to do. I'll give you $50 off. If you call in by tonight, by midnight. Oh, I'll tell you what. We'll do it by 2013. How's that? I'll give you till tomorrow night to make a New Year's resolution to take on your anger. If not, I'll give you your money back. So you have till 2014, and I'll take $50 off the price. $345. Mention the Shrink Difference show. And that's the commercial break. Now, I was going to have a little story time. We like story time here. And
oh yeah,
the story I'm going to tell, I'm actually not going to tell one this time, I'm going to read it. The idea behind the story has to do with how do you know what's going on? What do people base their beliefs on and what's going on? It's called the Sufi tale. The Sufis were this mystical cult of Islam. As a matter of fact, it may still be illegal. It was illegal to practice these activities because these people had a certain kind of knowledge that threatened the society. And so they made the Sufis illegal. The Sufi dervishes are the whirling dervishes. They travel around the world. So they have great teaching stories, So the one I chose here is called The Blind Ones and the Matter of the Elephant. There was a city with inhabitants who were blind. And they were told one day that a new king was coming and he was going to be camped out in the desert. and he had a mighty elephant to use as part